Hey, it's Adam Zdroik of RotoWire. I'm going to be talking July 1st, and there's one July 2nd game in MLS. Going to give some bets out, going to go over lineups a little bit, and that'll be it. That'll be it for the weekend. Of note, I'll be gone for the next few weeks after this, so there will be no more MLS betting, and there will be no more of these videos over the next few weeks. I'll be on paternity leave. So if you want some MLS bets, I guess just find me on Twitter at RotoZdroik. Maybe I'll give some bets out from there. Otherwise, no videos. So apologies on that if you're enjoying these. But check out this RotoWire page. This is the RotoWire soccer betting page. We got Liga MX returning tonight. Yes, June 30th. There are 3 matches tonight. We got this betting page where you can just compare odds, which comes in helpful if you have money at all these sports books: DraftKings, FanDuel, BetMGM, and PointsBet. Here's the MLS page. You can see the best number for these teams. I'm going to get into these teams in just a little bit here. So I also want to run through some of our MLS content here. So we came out with some So Rare videos. You can find those on YouTube. Also, we got the MLS goalkeeper ranking. So if you're into So Rare, check those out. Let's get into it now for MLS. So here are all the news that happens. I don't know if you're watching this and don't know about the injury report or don't know about the news section for RotoWire, check it out. We cover all the injury reports, all the press conferences, all that stuff will be on here. So this is usually what I use to just make sure I don't miss anything, because we do have people on around the clock just getting in information. So as you can see here, this one interesting thing here, Christian Casarius, active in team training earlier this week, but it also came out that he's going to move to Ligue 1. He's going to move to Toulouse, I believe. And it doesn't seem like he's going to be playing for the Red Bulls anymore. So that's an interesting update there. Ryan Gauld is back in training, and then Brian White picked up an injury. He popped up on the injury report. But okay, let's look at the lineups here. I'm going to run through these really quickly. Actually, instead of lineups, let's check out the cheat sheet here. Cheat sheet, rotowire.com/soccer trial, free 48-hour trial to get this cheat sheet. Again, this cheat sheet has odds of all these games, all 14 games this weekend here. As you can see, a bunch of home favorites. We got LAFC as the biggest away favorite. Maybe, yeah, the only away team that's favored. Though, yeah, I guess Inter Miami is slightly favored at home against Austin. No surprises here. This is kind of what MLS does. We got the goal odds also here, goal scoring odds, set piece takers, and then team conceded stats. So I'll try and run through really quickly here what's going on for each of these teams and point out anything that's going on with them. So Toronto, big thing is they got a bunch of injuries. They got a bunch of absences. I'm going to make a bet on Real Salt Lake. I'll just give a spoiler away. Real Salt Lake, somewhat disappointing in their last match, but they got a couple late goals that come around in a 2-2 result. Everyone's mostly back outside of Rubio Rubin, who picked up an injury while playing the Gold Cup. But otherwise, they've been playing pretty well, even with some absences, but they have everyone back. Sabarino's back. Diego Luna actually played, I think, as a forward last match. Toronto, they have pretty much their front six is all available. So all their main attacking guys. But as you can see on this injury report, so Osorio is still out for the Gold Cup. Laria is still out for the Gold Cup. Their goalkeepers are still out for the Gold Cup. Matt Hedges is no longer healthy. He's listed out on the injury report. Gutierrez also listed out. So could see some changes on the back line again. Marshall Rudy has been back there a couple times. O'Neal, Mabika have played at center back at times. Patreta, we have projected as left back right now, and he missed last week's match. He had a couple starts in here. Just kind of a wild time here for Toronto in terms of availability. They're playing at home, so I guess that's the lone thing going for them there. Orlando, mostly healthy here. Mostly got most of their guys back, playing pretty well, coming off clean sheet at Seattle. That was a scoreless draw. Chicago Fire also playing pretty well. They do have one injury of note. So Federico Navarro was listed out on the injury report, just a defensive midfielder who kind of starts pretty much every match for him. So I think that's pretty relevant, but they are coming off 2 away wins, which Was impressive. I think I'm going to be looking at this match, but because they've been playing really well defensively. They've been kind of suffocating teams' attacks, and I'm not really sold on Orlando's attack in general. So I'll be looking at that one. Montreal at home is pretty solid. I don't know. I don't think numbers off the top of my head, but I feel like they have a bunch of clean sheets at home. Let's just go through it really quickly. 4, 5, 6 straight clean sheets at home. I think that is correct. 6 straight clean sheets at home. They do have a couple injury issues with Camacho and Shinoye, yeah, if I'm saying that right. Otherwise, they do have a couple more absences for the Gold Cup, but this is the same team that played last week. NYCFC, just a team that is off and on. We'll see who starts in net for them. They had Matt Freese start last match. Otherwise, everyone's pretty good. Everyone's Ledesma, I guess he picked up something, but otherwise, everyone's pretty healthy for them. Inter Miami, everyone's been hurt for a long time here, a long time. So they do have some issues. Let me check. Kristoff. They might get Kristoff back here from an absence. So that would come in handy. They're going against Austin, who just isn't very good away from home. But they are coming off a big win against Houston, Inter Miami, sitting in last place. Everyone likes to say, "Oh, Messi's going to last place, Inter Miami. What's he going to do?" Everyone's kind of ignoring that Inter Miami have had probably the biggest injuries of any team this season in MLS. I mean, you can see in addition to the absences like Kamal Miller for the Gold Cup, Gene Mota, Yedlin's away for the Gold Cup. Negri just picked up an ACL injury. Grigore, Quarantine Gene. So you got all these guys who have been just picked up ACL injuries that are out 3+ months, kind of a thing. So you just can't. You just can't look at that and be like, oh, just a terrible team, but they've had so many injuries. Columbus playing really well at home, just another team that's playing well at home. Red Bulls mostly unreliable in terms of how they play. As I mentioned, that Caceres thing, I doubt he starts here, just given this new information of him signing with Toulouse. So that would move in someone like Drew Yearwood to the starting 11, Frankie Maya. We'll see if Vanzer is healthy. He returned to training this week, so that could remove like a Tom Barlow from the starting 11, though they are coming off a 4-0 win. So I think that Barlow is going to get the start again. Columbus, I think this is the exact same lineup that they ran out last week, and they beat, was it Nashville? Yeah, they beat Nashville 2-0. Cincinnati have been kind of iffy. They've been missing a lot of guys. Mosquera hasn't been playing. They're missing guys at the Gold Cup. They're missing Brenner. They're missing Vasquez, guys who are going to move to other clubs, kind of a thing. So I am kind of wary about Cincinnati, even though they're at home. As for the Revs, they like to give up a lot of goals and kind of screw me in my bets. So that's there. Otherwise, I don't think anyone. All these guys have been out for some time. So I don't think there's a ton of changes outside of Noel Buck maybe being healthy again. St. Louis, same situation with them. They're at home. They beat San Jose 2-1 last match, and I think I had San Jose money line. So that one kind of hurt me a little bit, but I'm probably going to avoid this match. In general, the Rapids mostly fine health-wise. I think their last match is actually postponed. Let me double check here. I guess that one might have been a couple weeks ago. They had a scoreless draw against the Galaxy. Nashville home against DC. Nashville trying to find that second forward. They started Hackinson last match, so Schaffelberg's out, but Colt's out, and Godoy's out. They're still trying to figure a guy to play when those other ones are missing. TL Bunbury. I don't think Bunbury's going to be ready, but guess he's still listed as a last-minute decision. DC United have been playing well. I think it's going to be a tight matchup here. It's Nashville playing well at home, are a good home team, but DC been playing solid, though, again, another team that kind of struggles away from home. Minnesota, I'm going to be on Minnesota here. Now, Portland do not have Evander, who has arguably been their best player. He is suspended. So you throw that in there, and you already have some Portland struggles combined with Reynoso on Minnesota, and I think that just gives Minnesota a nice little boost. And they added Pookie, which is going to be fun. He's going to be available in a couple weeks, assuming he's fit and ready to play. Sporting Kansas City, frustrating team in terms of getting wins. I'll continue to bet their corners. latest news on them is Alan Pulido is actually, it seems like he's going to move back to Liga MX. I think he's still fine. I think he's still going to be starting here for Sporting Kansas City because this is before the transfer window. But it does look like he's going to be moving back to Liga MX. Otherwise, Johnny Russell is healthy again, and Danny Rosero is back from a suspension. So that's a boost for them. The Whitecaps, I think the big issue with them is the status of Brian White. It seems like Ryan Gauld is healthy enough. He's back in training. He wasn't even listed on the injury report. So they played decent. They won 3-2 in their last match, even without Brown, even without Gressel, so even without Ahmed as well. So a solid result from the Whitecaps in their last match. This is a matchup between the two of the top corner-taking teams in the league. Dallas, they have a ton of absences, and I'm probably going to avoid this match. I've liked betting against LAFC in the last few weeks or so, but Dallas, a lot of absences. Again, we look at this Endely guy, Herbert Endely, who started last match. Just they're kind of running low on options here, and I'm not sure if they're getting anyone back. LAFC mostly healthy here from last week's match. Sounders are really struggling to score. We'll see if Rui Diaz returns. He had a family issue that he went back home for, but I believe he's back in Seattle, so he should be available for this match. Houston, mostly fine. Again, I think the only main absence would be Carrasquilla, who was playing in the Gold Cup. San Jose, again, had that disappointing 2-1 loss at home in their last match, but they're mostly healthy. I believe Montero popped up on the injury report, playing better at home. Galaxy, no new injuries, no new absences of note. Atlanta, Philadelphia, same with those teams. That'll be a fun Sunday standalone match, but I'm not going to have a bet on that one. I like betting against Atlanta, but at home in a standalone match like this, I think that's going to be a packed stadium, and they are a pretty good team at home. If anything, I might look at the over in this Atlanta Philadelphia game. All right, those are the 14 matches. Let's get into some bets here. Let's see here. Columbus money line, Columbus Crew money line. Mentioned this one -110, and just look at some of their home results here. 2-0 against Nashville, 4-2 against Charlotte, 3-2 against Colorado, 2-0 against the Galaxy. They've really found something at home, and I think they keep it going here against the Red Bulls, who really haven't found anything. Early in the season, first couple months, it was like the Red Bulls have great XG numbers, but they did beat Atlanta, but they're coming off 3 straight home matches, and you look at some of their away matches, no goals in a lot of them. But I think they're going to try and keep this one low scoring. You could take, the under 2.5 if you're looking that route, but without Caceres in there, with some more changes in the midfield, they still have a couple absences like Lewis Morgan and John Tolkien there on the back line. But I just like the way the Crew are playing at home, and Zayla Ryan, Hernandez, Ramirez. That's like one of the best trio of attacking players that is in the league. I know they have defensive issues at times, but that attacking trio, I think it's going to overpower the Red Bulls here in this spot. Minnesota money line +105. Looking at their lineup here, again, Reynoso is back, and they kind of disappointed a little bit to let go of a 2-0 edge at Real Salt Lake in their last match, but that one finished 2-2. But they're back home, and I know they haven't won in a couple of their last home matches, but I think this is just a spot here. Portland without Evander, I think that'll open up an edge there in the midfield. Portland doesn't have Evander. Minnesota has Reynoso, so that's a pretty big difference compared to just 2 weeks ago from these teams. Evander, again, suspended. Reynoso back from his absence. So I do like Minnesota at home here. They're mostly healthy. They do, I guess, Fragapan. I think he's missed last week as well. So I think they're going to be fine, though. I'll take Minnesota +105. Getting to parlays here. Let's see. What do I got for the parlay? Real Salt Lake, double chance. I mentioned Real Salt Lake already at Toronto, just because Real Salt Lake, I think they've been playing well. And just against this back line, I think there's going to be goals in this one. And I think Real Salt Lake can at least get a point from this. So this is Real Salt Lake, double chance with Montreal, double chance. It's +117 on a parlay. Montreal are at home against NYCFC. Again, NYCFC, their struggles are pretty well known, just struggling to score. The away matches, I mean, I don't think it's a bunch of draws here away from home. Draw, loss. Okay, so that's kind of where I'm coming from. I think Montreal are already a good team at home. I think of what I say, they won 6 in a row at home, so you could even throw Montreal money line into this one if you want. Maybe wait to see what these injuries look like because they do have some absences which may help them or which may hurt them a little bit. But NYC's overall struggles, I'd find it hard to see NYC getting a win in this one. And then Sporting Kansas City, going back to the well here with corner bets, -1 corner in the first half is -110 for Sporting Kansas City. I already mentioned the Vancouver Whitecaps, their absences, and Sporting Kansas City, a team at home. They're number 1 in the league in terms of corners. Vancouver's number 2 in the league in terms of corners, but away from home with some absences, with the guys like Gressel out, I think Sporting Kansas City, maybe they're not going to score because they kind of struggled scoring, kind of struggled converting. I think they're going to get the corners. I should have done this exact bet last week. They had more corners. I think it was 4-1, maybe 3-1 against Chicago in the first half in terms of corners. Ended losing that one. But I think they're going to have more of the ball. I think they're just going to get corners. That's kind of how they've played. Doesn't result in wins, but it results in more corners. So I'm taking that one. And finally, another parlay to close this off. This is what I call the safe over-under parlay. If that makes any sense, parlays aren't safe, but this is my personal term for it, a safe parlay. So you could actually you can go over 2.5 or under 2.5 with these bets, but I'm doing the safe route, which leads to +113 odds. So first up, Miami, Austin FC over 1.5 goals, plus Toronto, Real Salt Lake over 1.5 goals, and Orlando City, Chicago Fire under 3.5 goals, +113. There you go. It's the safe parlay. Something stupid's going to happen. There's going to be a 1-0 result in one of these games. That Orlando match is going to have 6 goals. Something stupid's going to happen, but I'll call it safe nevertheless. Again, I'll run through my thinking in this really quickly. So Toronto, Real Salt Lake, I already mentioned the Toronto defensive issues. I think there's going to be goals in this one. Miami, Austin, not as good. Like most teams, not great defensively away from home. And then you got Miami, a lot of issues with Miami. I don't think they try and get a 1-0 win here just because they're at home. I don't think they have the bodies really for it. You can look at this lineup and there are a lot of questions here. So I do think there's going to be goals from both teams in that. And then Orlando, Chicago. Orlando's been playing better defensively. Chicago's been playing better defensively. Okay, so let's do the under 3.5. Again, you can take under 2.5 in that if you want, or over 2.5 in the other ones. But the safe parlay is +113. So there you go. Those are my bets for July 1st in MLS. Thank you for watching this one. I'll be gone for the next few weeks. Find me at Zdroik. Follow RotoWire Soccer at RotoWire Soccer. RotoWire Soccer, rotowire.com/soccer trial to get the cheat sheet. I got a question here from Frederic. Do you think Cincinnati can win? I mean, they're at home, so I always think Cincinnati can win. But as I mentioned, with these absences and the Revs, in terms of the Revs just being a good team, I mean, you look at this last home game, which when Cincinnati had this same lineup, they won 3-0, but I don't think they completely dominated that match. I mean, you look at Toronto had possession by a bunch. They both had about equal amount of chances. I don't think Cincinnati completely controlled this game, and that was against I guess Toronto had some of their guys in here, but there was still some rotation from Toronto. I think that 3-0 scoreline was kind of fluky, and this 3-0 loss to DC is kind of more telling. I do think the Revs can put up a fight here. I'm not sure I trust either defense in this one. Cincinnati, I guess if they get Mosquera back, I'd like Cincinnati more. So that'll be something to keep an eye on if Mosquera is on the back line. Otherwise, they've had some issues defensively, at least in that last game, that 3-0 loss. I'd lean on there being over 2.5 goals in this one. I'd lean on something like a 2-2 result kind of thing, because I think both teams can score, but I'm just not sure right now how these back lines are playing. So those are my thoughts. Thanks for watching, Frederic. That's all I got for this week. See everyone in a few weeks, or find me on Twitter at RotoZdroik. Thanks for watching this. See See you on 11th. Enjoy July 4th, I should mention as well.